crew found themselves needing to cross a sea without any sailors around to ferry them. What is an adventuring party to do? Well, if you're the Chaotic Neutral crew, you do it yourself, of course. After several attempts to get lost, a helpful merman, and a lot of banter, the gang finally made it across the sea into the ancient city of Bezos. Now they're in a strange city with no contacts and only a vague idea of what to do next. Sounds like a normal day for the Chaotic Neutral team. What will they do? Where will they go? Find out in this week's episode of the Chaotic Neutral Podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Caleb, and I am joined tonight by Will.
Bayard says hello.
And Amy.
Hi, I play Kiki.
And Shane.
Bert's going to give it 3 weeks to burn this place down.
And finally, David.
Kai gives it 3 days.
Okay. On that note, so you guys are in the city of Bezos. On the screen for Twitch people and for the players, I have one shot of modern day Istanbul, which is sort of the inspiration for the city of Bezos. Istanbul, like as I described, it's on several hills around a massive harbor, so it's really hard to get a shot that sort of shows you the whole grandeur of the city. These are a couple of modern...
God damn it! Is that a garter?
Why do you have to point out when I'm doing things? Just let me do them.
So while I'm trying to explain what's going on, Amy is drawing a crappy mermaid tail in the water. And that's not a that's not a euphemism. It's literally her trying to draw a mermaid's tail sticking up out of the water in this picture. It's a distraction. Anyways, as the gang pointed out before we started recording, this is a modern picture and there are modern boats and modern buildings. But I really wanted you to focus on the architecture of the mosque that's sort of in the front and center with this sort of broad base and these minarets around it and several domes that kind of grow into each other to have this massive domed effect. And that's what a lot of the palaces and temples look like in Bezos, is that sort of domed architecture. Where you
Question
have...
for you.
Yeah.
For a moron such as myself, what is a minaret? Minuet?
Minarets, those are these slender towers that are on either... that have the thing that Shane said looked like a volleyball net between them.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
What are they for?
I don't know about the net, but
Lookout?
the minarets are just they're just a feature of mosque architecture. I think that I haven't studied it too closely, but I think that the guy who calls people to prayer stands up in one of those little crenellated places, and that's where he calls from.
So it's not like a penis thing. It's not like, look how big my friggin' minaret is.
Everything about a religion is a penis thing.
Yeah, I mean, when people build towers, there's a school of thought that says that it's always a penis thing when that happens.
Oh, okay. Start shouting from your penis. Hey, everybody, get to church.
So you guys, and here's an image of the Hagia Sophia, if it'll load. The Hagia Sophia is kind of the one of the biggest temples around. And of course it's not going to load.
Fishtail stuck around, though.
Oops. This actually, I think, is just a different angle of the same building. But yeah, so the whole city sort of has a waterfront on it, and you guys find a port or a place to dock in the river in a region called Galata. And I'll get you guys sort of a general overview of the city here in map form.
Now, just focusing on the picture here, is that a friggin' prison?
I actually think that's a parking garage.
Guard. Oh, okay, all right, because it looked like the Carson prison. Like here's the guard tower.
Cell tower.
Here's lights. Okay, all right, that might be part. Okay.
So
Like,
here,
wow, what a great place to be incarcerated.
We lost the other viewer.
What?
Okay, so this image, and I'll describe it for the people who don't have access to our stream. And I'm going to draw in red, I think, here. Okay, so this is an image, a medieval image of a map of Constantinople, which is the city that Bezos is based on. You guys came in from this channel here to the north. This here is the river that flows, well, yeah, I mean, where you guys were coming in, the channel is going east-west, and the river comes down from the north. So this whole thing should sort of be reoriented. You're going to dock in one of these little harbors here on the side of the river called Galata. It's kind of the newer part of the city. It's not as ordered. It's kind of a little bit ramshackle, a little rough and tumble. All of the government offices and official places and most of the more elaborate temples are in the main section of the city on the other side of the river. There's also a special harbor that services just the palace on the far side, and that's the one that I was saying has high walls above it so that even if the harbor is taken, it's easy to defend that part of the wall. And there are a few of those around there. Within the main part of the city, you can see there's a massive temple complex there. Well, and then it's not on this map, but there's a palace right out here on the point that is surrounded by gardens. So that what I showed you is the historical city of Constantinople. Bezos, the city for this story, the walls are actually farther out. They'd be out like here. And there's a section of the city where it's sort of left wild and untamed, and there's a reservoir in there that this river, the Golden Horn, flows out of. And the whole city sort of is massive. It's so big that you guys could probably spend a whole day just walking around in there and never see all of it.
So we have a city. So essentially, we have a city that cuts east and west through the city, or a river that cuts east and west through the city, and a river along north and south of the city.
So the east-west river doesn't. Oh, this here is what you're talking about. The east-west.
I'm trying not to look at the map so
Okay.
that viewers can
so
understand the same thing.
Yeah. So, the main city is built on a peninsula out into the channel, but one part of the peninsula is actually this freshwater river that flows down out of a lake. Across the river is the more rough and tumble, seedy part of the city. And
Okay, so it's a river that separates kind of the lower level city from the higher.
exactly, and the whole thing fronts the ocean channel that you guys sailed through.
Okay.
And there are settlements on the far side of the channel, but they're not considered part of the city proper. That's where a lot of nobles have their vacation estates, and that sort of stuff.
You're not allowed to visit unless you own property.
I'm gonna go visit.
Bet you
I would
won't.
have to advise against that little lady.
So you guys put in at the docks, and the dockmaster, hails. I guess Bert's the most charismatic, huh?
Probably.
So the dockmaster hails Bert and says,
What's your charisma?
20.
Ooh.
Aha.
Mm.
I'm at 13.
Pretty
I'm
charismatic.
drunk, so that makes me at 21.
My mom says I'm cool.
and he says, welcome to Bezos. It's 10 silver to tie up here. It's processing fee so that we can enter your ship into the records. The governor insists on keeping very accurate records of the comings and goings within the city. Under what name should I put your vessel?
I sink the ship.
It just lights it on fire. We don't need to pay the
How
silver.
do you go?
Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. So as he tries to do it, I'm going to use thermagory to kind of make it look high level. I'm gonna make my eyes glow and make it look like a giant fire as he tries to drown the thing.
So, Kai, how do you try to drown this ship?
By punching holes in the bottom.
Okay, roll me an intelligence check.
Okay. You know my weakness. Oh, 17.
Okay. And when you say punching holes, you mean like a monk punching holes in the wood, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when do you start doing this?
As we're approaching.
Okay. So the holes aren't enough. Like the water's starting to rise, but it's not enough that it's not like dropping like a rock. And the harbor master's like, oh, you're looking a little low in the water. We have some good shipwrights in the area, and they could probably, help you repair that if you need. I do need a name of the ship to register it under.
I was thinking of, how
Captain Sparrow.
Captain Sparrow came in.
Yeah, it's not that dramatic, unfortunately.
What did we call it in Meat Space? The Sheila? We had all these great names, and then somebody said Sheila. You're like, all right, fine, Sheila.
You didn't have any great names. Like,
They were fabulous.
if you can name one of them for me.
The Rusty Bone.
I did not hear that one
I
last
also
Saturday.
Minnow.
We're sailing under the Shiksa.
Shiksa? What did David say?
Little Minnow.
Little minnow?
Little min-
We're settling under their sunken treasure. We're not paying any silver. It's about to go down.
This is about to become a permanent fixture of your dock.
He's like, if it sinks there, it'll be a 5 gold for us to remove it.
I throw 10 at him and walk away.
And he goes, I still need to get your names for the registrar.
Put it under Fozzie.
Put it under Fuzzy.
My
Also-
name is Bayard Iron Mug.
So he writes down Baird, Iron Mug, Fozzie.
Amiathon.
He looks over at Fozzie, and he goes, do you have any livestock or magical creatures to declare?
Nope.
No.
So that's just a puppy?
Uh-huh.
That's just old Gumma.
Do you have any papers for that owlbear?
Excuse me?
This is a civilized city. We can't just have a random owlbear
He's
running
a
around.
civilized bear.
In that case, you should have papers indicating that he has been trained so that he won't eat our
became
citizenry.
trained and civilized
is there-
through
Caleb,
adventure.
Amy?
what would be... Because in the other game, Daniel does the paper writing.
The forgery?
Yeah, is that something that I need to have?
If you have the tools to forge papers and you've had the time to do it and the foresight to have done it, then you would need a forger's kit, and it's a deception.
All right, it's something I don't have. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
I think the same thing happens if you just hand them a few more gold coins and be like, here's the paperwork.
I hand him a blank piece of paper with a lot more money in it.
Kind of looks at it. Roll me your persuasion.
I don't want to.
Money talks.
3.
Well, that bullshit don't walk.
And I'm going to say
7.
you have advantage because of the...
Why would you
gold?
allow that?
This is the Emperor's Owlbear.
14.
The Emperor's out there.
You see the diamond studded.
You happen to have found a weak-willed harbor master who... I mean, you are in the part of the city where if smugglers are going to put in, it would probably be in this part of the city. And
On the piece.
he kind of...
On the.
He pockets the gold, and he raises an eyebrow at you, and he says, Miss, are you aware that it is illegal to bribe a representative of the governor doing his duties? Regardless, this paperwork seems to be acceptable. And like tucks it away. He says, although other officials may ask to see the papers as well, I suggest that you have legitimate papers for him.
I
Yeah.
just, in front of him, write Fozzie does what he wants on the paper, sticks it in my pocket.
It's like Ron Swanson's CCW.
Can I pickpocket?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Is that sleight of hand?
Yes, it is.
17 on the die plus 12.
Even with his 19 on the die, he's not going to notice. You can basically rob him blind. He
I just
does.
want what I gave him.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to slip that out before.
For the snarky attitude. Otherwise, he could have just had it.
For the record, out of character, because that is probably how Kiki would interpret it. For the record, he's trying to be helpful, to let you know that not all of the guards can be bribed.
Yeah,
I
mean, I know.
For the listeners, there was no snark on his part.
He was just being polite.
Yes, but Kiki is a sociopath.
Well, with that attitude.
And he says, "Do you have any other magical goods, agricultural products, or animals to declare?"
Honestly, do we?
I have my
Magical
holy
goods?
symbol.
Are we all wearing magical goods?
Yeah, but they're sort of hidden.
I am
Yeah,
not.
I mean,
I have my bag
we're not here to
devouring.
Oh yeah, you have that horrible thing.
We say nothing and say no. No, we don't.
Okay. He says, so I have Fozzie, which is a strange name for a halfling woman, but price is right.
You don't know.
Ozzy does what she wants.
Bayard Iron Mug. Your name, Captain? He's assuming Bert's the captain.
Okay. Well,
But I like that Kai speaks up.
the captain's name is Bert. I just kind of put my mouth over his face, my hand over his face. Captain's name is Bert. Shut up, Kai.
We accept all kinds in Bezos.
I bite his finger.
Ow, you shit. Bad first mate.
And
You little jerk.
the elf's name?
We just call him
Is
Elf.
is that your name? Or is that you thinking of your name?
Give it a minute, he'll get it.
Don't rush him. You can do it, little buddy.
No, I got other things on my mind. Go away.
Go. I can't be bothered with your goddamn naming game.
Do you try to walk past him without providing a name?
Yes.
He steps in front of you and goes to block your path.
I go around.
Kai, just tell him your name.
He says aloud.
His name's Kai? Okay.
Just tell the nice man your name, Kai.
And where will you be staying? Have you acquired lodgings?
We have not. And I look at
Mom-
Bayard
Mom's
with
toes.
a quizzical. Oh shit.
I'm assuming there's a temple here that would gladly put us up for the night at least until we find more proper lodging
Is that like a hostel?
Amenities.
He sighs a little bit. He goes, "You're required to report into the harbor master's office," and he sort of points a little farther down, and you see an official-looking building in the sort of the center of the docks. He goes, "It's right down there. You have 1 week to report in there to provide your location, and
Nosy.
to
I-
gain official passports to move throughout the city freely."
I will make sure all of that is taken care of as a As a noble man of the Amatheon clergy, I will assure you this will be done before the end of the week.
Outstanding. If it's not, you might be arrested.
That will not be a problem.
Anyways, enjoy your stay in Bezos. I hope it's productive, and I hope that it's not too disruptive.
Thank you, my good man. Blessed be your day.
And there's a little chime that goes with that.
Quest complete.
Quest complete. Irritate the harbor master.
Introduction to Bezo.
3 experience all around.
You guys can't hear me scratching anything else on my face, but that damn thing goes off.
Okay, so you, from what the impression he gave you, you guys sort of have free reign of Galata, which is the seedier part of the city.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're.
So what do you
I
guys
would
do?
do some seedy shit.
I would like to try to keep the group together as we walk away from the
Where
harbor.
did the
City.
seedy
not gonna happen.
go?
There's a montage
Muppets.
of Kiki and Fozzie walking down the streets, gambling and whoring, and
Enjoying life. Best thing I've ever had.
Kiki's distracting a dude while Fozzie's got a furry arm in the guy's pocket.
I think it's the other way around there.
No, but it's funnier this way.
I'm teaching him.
At
The giant paw as it like completely knocks the guy to the ground.
at the brothel, Kiki doesn't get anything for herself, but she gets several pretty girls and boys to just like stroke Fozzie's feathers. Then pays an artist to sketch it.
Paint him.
It's like the Polaroids of the trip, you know. God. So that doesn't exactly happen. What do you guys actually do?
I'm guessing.
First thing I'm going to do is head to a tavern.
I need to fill my cast.
Okay.
I buy a place.
Of course she does.
What sort of place are you looking to buy?
I don't know.
Real shitty and dingy.
Real dumpy.
Dank. Just dank.
We need a place to stay, don't we?
Bayard is saying that his temple will probably put you guys up.
Which I will check out right after I fill my cast.
I have a question.
I don't want to do that.
I might even ask the tavern owner while I'm there.
So Bayard, you take this as a good sign. You find a tavern called the Laughing Dwarf, and
Nice.
and it's you wouldn't describe it as seedy, but you wouldn't describe it as nice either. It's respectable. It's
a Holiday Inn.
the floors aren't sticky. You know, the fights tend to be recreational.
It's real classy then.
You know, the drink isn't too watered down.
It's like a gentleman's club,
water
isn't it?
won't kill you. And they do tend to prefer cards rather than dice.
Cards rather than dice.
Oh,
All right.
I like cards.
So I'm gonna walk up to the bar and be like, a mug of your finest.
He's like, and he's another dwarf. And he's like, my finest. Kind of looks you up and down. Why might they be quarantined, David?
Because they still have crystal all around.
No. Did I not?
I thought you
No,
were.
you
Yeah,
mentioned,
no.
You mentioned
Because
that was
that-
a ritual that the
Yeah. When you
It was original.
when you guys back at the temple when that spirit was cleansed, they were all cleansed as well.
I was just
Yeah, good call though. And Bert's still sleeping, so that would have been another. Or Zerf's still Zerf's still unconscious, so that's
On the
that'd be
boat? On the boat. On
well.
the
That's
boat.
that's
The boat that
something
we were
that
trying to
we
sink?
should probably go back and deal with. Of
I think we still leave him there. We'll see what it was.
Well,
if he's still there.
We'll strap the half or the dwarf to the
Well, he's still strapped to Fuzzy, isn't he?
right.
well, I mean, you guys were on the boat for like 2
Yeah.
weeks.
We would have just kind of left him in the sun. I think. Now he looks like an old leather handbag now.
We tucked him up in some barrels, and he just kind of.
Fozzie's just used to it. This extra weight hanging on
He
one
doesn't
side.
like to be in the city anyway. So-
Let's
likes it
let
on the
him
boat.
live under the sea with the
With the nice merfolk.
They'll take care of him.
He wakes up to a
Like what?
fish person just making out with him.
They'll braid his
Kinda like
hair
what
and put
Liz
shells in it.
He'll love that shit.
He just stepped into a barrel and he's just floating on down the.
Jesus Christ.
He's tied off to the dock. He's fine. He floats.
Dan,
The boat is going down that fast. We can find him in a week.
Dan, I don't think you actually listened to this. I'm sorry if you do for the lack of regard your party members have for your character. But no, seriously, what do you guys actually do about Zerf? And the harbor?
I
Do you tell the
completely-
harbor master his name too?
I pay to have him hauled to whoever's temple.
Okay.
To my temple,
Sure. I'm not going there.
Amathion.
Okay.
He can go to the temple of Amathion
Yeah. I get some
with a note that says "From Bayard Iron Mug."
children.
See you soon.
I get some moppets.
Okay.
I do
Are
the
there
mop- the
moppets in this
moppet
town?
call,
Does
and
David's network of moppets stretch this
There's
far?
moppets everywhere. They're everywhere.
He just claps his hands.
So first off,
What?
Bayard was in the tavern, and the dwarf was like, looks Bayard up and down. He's like, I don't think you can afford my finest.
They throw money at him.
Are you there?
Yeah,
I have
they're
I have
all
14 gold, so
Okay.
try me.
14 gold.
Do we not all go to the bar?
I thought
Um,
you and Fozzie were gonna go carouse or something.
Oh,
You're looking for a place to buy.
No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Filthy liar.
Liar.
Roll me an insight, Will.
I can do that. 22.
Okay. He goes, you might be able to afford it after all. He takes 10 of your gold and pockets it and he goes back into the back and brings out like a tiny little pony keg that's done up in elaborate scroll work, and you see sort of a maker's mark on it. And
My eyes get big.
he taps it, and he pours out a pint, and he hands it over to you.
Oh, this looks good.
And he's like, "That's 30-year-old Thunderbrew." That's
Have
the
I
best
heard
we
of
have.
Thunderbrew?
You think you have? You're pretty
Oh,
sure it's good.
I swirl a little bit in my mug, and I lift one nostril to it and take a big whiff.
And he strokes his beard in appreciation.
I slowly sip this one, as opposed to my normal just down it and ask for the next.
You're surprised. Like, I mean, for such a well-renowned ale, it's kind of mediocre. And he's like, a buddy of mine's into real estate speculation. And he's got an island out in the channel that is going to be primo property. You build a lighthouse on it, and you build a little hostel, and it's just waiting to be exploited. And we can get you in on the ground floor of that for just a mere 25 gold.
Nah, is that true? Can I roll an insight on this guy about this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not.
Oh.
13.
He seems on the up and up.
I've got some mates that would love to hear about this. Might I inform them and I can bring them by later?
Oh, aye. But, this property is going to go quick, so you want to make sure you hurry up on it.
I'm sure, yes. I'm sure. It'll only take me a little while. While we're at it, though, I'd like to, and I drop my big cast onto the table, like, give me your cheapest ale to fill this with. I need some traveling drink.
He's like, oh yeah, I can get that filled up for you for just a gold. Let me go.
Excellent.
So he takes your gold and fills that up and hands it back to you. So
What was your name again?
damn it.
Did that on purpose.
It's Cormac.
Cormac, good lad. I'm gonna go find the rest of my comrades and discuss this lighthouse business with them. The little speck of island for the lighthouse. Don't let anything happen to it. I should be here within at least by tomorrow.
Okay, it's not gonna sit forever.
I understand. If it goes, it goes. We're out of luck. But unfortunately, I'm a bit tapped out. However, we've got funds and reserves.
That's good to hear. Good to hear.
Excellent.
Okay, so
I'm going to walk out and go look for the temple after that then.
So listeners, Bayard was just served standard run-of-the-mill ale and like a 500% markup. Anyways, so Kiki, what's Kiki and Fozzie doing?
Okay, I've got two things I need to do.
Okay.
I'm not staying at the temple, so I need to find a place.
Okay.
But I want a nice place. Not here, but a nice place.
How nice?
Someplace where Fozzie's gonna get weird looks. Like nice enough where they're like, what the fuck?
So you need to go across the river.
But first I need to be in the city area to get papers for Fozzie.
Okay. Are you looking for legitimate papers or forged papers?
Can I get legitimate papers for Fozzie? What does that entail?
You don't know. The harbor master would have pointed you to the particular bureaucracy in charge of licensure of magical creatures.
I don't do bureaucracy. No, just some good old papers.
Good old papers? Forged? Okay.
Good old forged.
Roll me an investigation with advantage. Because thieves can't.
13.
Alright.
Natural 20.
So it doesn't take you long at all till you see a mark that, indicates expert forger, cheap, reliable, down this alley. Do you go down the alley?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
No?
I don't. I need to, is there any other way?
Coming from the alley, coming from above you, you hear, and I can't do it because I can't fucking whistle, but it's that, like, it's more of like the, hey, sexy lady,
I look like a 12-year-old.
but it's coming.
hot.
It's coming from the rooftops above you. Only if you're a rich white man in Hollywood, or running for Senate in Alabama. It's coming from above you, And farther back, you hear a whistle that sounds a little bit more like a question. And then from the alley itself, you hear very clearly the sound of pen on parchment and the clinking of gold coins.
Kenku.
I was gonna say, is it fucking Kenku?
Give me a perception check.
His name is Swoosh.
Fuck, 13?
You can't see them. Any of them. They rolled a nat 20 on their
Alright.
hide check.
Fozzie and I go cautiously down the alley.
Okay, when they see Fozzie, you hear sort of like when a cat growls and then starts to meow at the same time, so it's like a
Uh-huh.
and then almost a sound of a whistle of acknowledgement from the far end. You reach the end of the alley, and for being an alley, it's pretty nice. There are candles, parchment set up. There's like a little shelter to keep the rain off, and sort of like cushions and chairs about for people to sit. And sitting at a low desk with all sorts of writing utensils around it is a Kenku, and instead of wearing the usual rags, he is dressed very finely. And he has, you notice that he has a ton of shiny things all about him, like pocket watches and pins and just little bits of jewelry. And like he's got earrings, but they're hanging from his collar, and just like 20 of them. He glitters, and he gestures to the seat in front of you, and he kind of cocks his head at the owlbear and makes a hoot roar sound, like Fozzie does, but not you recognize it as not being Fozzie. He must have heard it from a different owlbear. And then it's the sound of pen on parchment, and then sort of that questioning whistle at the end.
I tell him, I guess I'll just be straight up about it, that I need papers for my friend here.
And he makes the sound of gold coins clinking together again, and you notice it's very distinct that it happens 5 times.
I reach in my pocket and clink some gold. But I also pull out, I have this written down, I don't know where the fuck I got it, the bronze pentacle of a rat head.
Okay.
Rat head on it. And I put that on the table first. But I also make the, like, clinking sound.
It sees the bronze pentacle, and it makes the sound of like a hairball being coughed up, and sort of brushes its fingers away from it.
I was gonna...
It thinks that you're trying to pay with that.
Oh! No. Okay. Sorry. I put the coins up there too, but with the bronze pentacle.
It cocks its head at you.
I'm just trying to make some friends. That's all.
He takes the coins and sort of points at the pentacle and makes that whistling sound again.
I don't know what the whistling sound means. I just push it forward. That's for you.
It's the one that sounds like a question mark. Sort of like a...
Just looking for...
He kind of pulls it over to his side of the table and sort of sets it aside. And then pulls out what looks like an official form. And reading upside down, you can see that it is like a license for a magical creature. And then he starts filling in the different fields, describing Fozzie's coloration and his approximate size and weight, and then describes his temperament as friendly and obedient, and certifies that Fozzie's passed all of these different health, safety, and behavioral tests, and then sort of scrawls the signature that is on the matching license that he's copying from. He blots it and then rolls it up and hands it over, and you hear, and he makes the sound of several kids cheering, like "Yay!"
I'll take it. We'll go.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's the transaction. And once you leave the alley peacefully, you can hear sort of more calls from the lookout, sort of saying like, "Yeah, she's gone. We're safe." Okay. What is Kai doing? I'm almost afraid to ask.
I have a head to the dock best.
You head to the harbor master's office?
Yeah.
Okay. When you get there, there's a we'll say he's a very dry looking elf. Looks at you through tiny circular spectacles on the very end of his nose, so that you get the sense he purchased them there just so he can look down his nose at people. And he says, "Can I help you, sir?"
I'm supposed to come here, I guess.
Do you know why you're supposed to come here?
Nope.
Who told you to come here?
The little person on the dock.
The harbor master.
I thought you were the harbor master.
The officials who check boats in and collect their fees and register them within the city's records are the harbor masters. I am a clerk for the harbor master general, whose office is upstairs.
Oh, we don't have a boat.
Then why would a harbor master tell you to come to the harbor master's office?
Just told us we had to come here.
Did he tell you you needed to provide information about your lodgings?
I think so.
One moment. What did you say your name was?
I didn't.
What is your name, so that I may look up the record?
The monk?
He kind of rolls his eyes and sighs. One moment, and he sort of spins over to this massive-looking tome and sort of flips through it, kind of looks up and down. There's no entry for the monk. Might you have given another name at the dock?
I didn't give any name.
Then how am I supposed to look you up in the tome?
You can look up Bayard.
Kai's the only one there. Like,
I'm out of game. I'm.
Oh, he knows.
no. Kai is doing this for. David is doing this because Kai is not socially proficient.
Yeah, this is awesome.
You can get on with everybody else. Kai goes on with this guy for a couple more hours.
Okay. I do need to do. We'll have Shane. High or low?
Low.
Okay. The elf does not call the guards to have you taken away.
Been another jailbreak for Kai.
Just another time in a new city for Chaotic Neutral.
Prison check.
Okay, Shane, what is Bert up to?
Library. Or the archives, tomes, information.
Okay.
If they let me out of that part of the city. I don't know. This is like the scummy part, right?
So, give me an investigation check.
And, ooh! Natural 20.
Okay. You're able to figure out, because Bert's been in big cities before, he kind of knows how they operate. So he's able to find the proper official to figure out, where he needs to go. The archives that are open to the public and as well as the Academy archives are on the far side of the city, or the far side of the river. There are also nobles who have their own private archives, and those tend to also be on the far side of the river or outside the city in their villas. Within Galata, there are sort of halls of records that keep track of comings and goings between the gates and the docks, who's shipping what, who loaned money to whom. Not so much necessarily the information you're looking for. So, I mean, to get across the bridge, you would need a passport.
And I have to do that by providing proof of residency?
Pretty much. Like, not so much proof of residency, but where they can find you.
So, I'm gonna look for Kiki then,
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure that she's not gonna be okay with being holed up in a temple.
No,
She's gonna look to drop some coin on a place to buy.
Okay. So,
Halfling, Big Owlbear, Halfling, Big Owlbear. Anybody? Halfling, Big Owlbear. Anybody see that?
so that's another investigation. Well, no, I'm gonna say with your nat 20, like finding shit in this city, Bert pretty much knows how to do it.
Especially shit that don't belong, like us.
So it doesn't take you very long to catch up to Kiki and Fozzie. Probably shortly after she gets the papers forged. Bayard, roll me an investigation. Are you looking for the temple or for the other party members at this point?
Currently, I'm assuming that they're going to the temple because that's what we discussed, and I don't know this party that well. So I'm going to the temple.
Okay.
He'll be dirt there.
We're like the
No.
cast of It's Always Sunny, and you're the guy that happened to wander into this episode.
I rolled a 15.
Okay. You don't have any trouble finding the temple. Since I'm sort of letting you set up the tenets of your religion, is it a big temple? Like, how popular is this religion?
I wouldn't say it's that popular. I mean,
It's a hut.
it's mostly a god for
It's one guy.
like wheat and barley, things you would brew beers with.
Okay.
So it's very small in that respect. Farmers would know about it, but it's mostly known amongst brewers.
Okay.
It's a pop-up revival tent in the middle of a field.
That's actually in this other game that I'm playing in. I'm playing a cleric in a world where, like, valor and war and bravery are not really valued, and he's a cleric of those things. And he took the acolyte background where he gets temple benefits. And my brother's like, well, there wouldn't necessarily be any temples. And so originally, the idea was that the temples were these places that he founded that are basically empty when he's not there. But we amended it to be that they're people that he helped out who sort of owe him one. And those are where he gets his acolyte favors.
Every now and again, they drop a coin into a chalice or something.
But yeah, like that's immediately what I thought of was this cleric just setting up his own temples that are basically huts with some religious iconography in them.
It's
That
kind of flag.
yeah.
open field, flag in the middle.
He's conned
Painted on
like
bed sheets.
he's conned like one moppet to make sure that it doesn't get burned down. You know. Anyways, so this temple, Galata, actually has a district that's just a lot of breweries. Part of that is because brewing, especially at a medieval level of technology, can be volatile. So it makes sense to keep all of your breweries kind of in the same area in case one goes up.
Doesn't blow up at anything else other than brewery.
Yeah. And so in the sort of the center of the Brewers District is this temple that in this city is sort of built to look like a giant still. And
awesome.
And within it there are it's one of the few parts in the city that has sort of deep, substantial basements, which are the cellars where they keep brews that are aging, and then they have barrels lining the walls, and different brews are used for different holidays and different rituals, and then farther up in the still they have meditation chambers that also have bars in them. And then there are several different places for acolytes of various ranks to sleep.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to walk in and do my my normal prayer, which I assume is pouring out a bit of ale into a large basin of some sort, and then kneeling and bowing my head. And then I will find
Washing your hands.
and then I will find the headmaster of this said establishment.
So the head, I would say that priests.
That's fine.
The head brew priest.
Head brew priest.
Brew monk.
Breast. Barista.
The high brew priest isn't there, but there is sort of a seems the brew priest on duty sees you there and says, "Welcome, brother. It's not often we see a brother of ours from another temple arrive. Where are you from?"
Oh, well, I forgot the name.
That was Kaffa.
Kaffa. I arrived recently from Kaffa with a small amount of shipmates as well.
Ah, Kaffa. For being such a small city, our brethren there are the most devout and enthusiastic of all of our daughter temples.
Our fields run large, and our brews are plenty.
Well, it's good to have another brother here. Are you looking to stay at the temple?
Yes. I have lodgings, and in fact, I have 3 others with me, and a rather large beast that will be looking to stay as well.
Are they also followers of the path?
Unfortunately not. They are vagabonds that I found along the trail. I am trying to watch over them. Hopefully, eventually I will convert them to our side.
You didn't say that.
Wasn't the deal?
I didn't know this was going to
You're not here. You're not here.
I'll bring him over to Mormonism soon enough. You just wait.
Sorry, I'm looking something up here. Okay. He says that you are welcome to stay and partake of their food, hospitality, and drink for as long as you need to. But if your companions are not initiates into the faith, out of charity, they can stay for a night or two, but they can't stay long term. It's just they don't have the capacity for that.
I understand, brother. We are looking for lodgings for them, but I figured for the time being we could hopefully find a place to put them up until we find something more suitable for their.
Yeah, so
breed.
a few days should be fine as long as they're not going to eat us out of all of our supplies or drink us out of all of our supplies.
Well, I believe that's on my job.
Uh,
And I slap him on the back.
and he's like, I forgot where. Did I say what season it was? Well, seasons are kind of weird on the ring.
You said it was a little chilly on our way there.
Yeah. So he's like, we just pulled in a harvest of barley. Come try the harvest brew that we've just finished. And he
Oh, excellent!
takes-
I am a bit parched.
takes you back to a chapel that is just a bar. Well, it's more like if you go to like Great Basin or another local brewery where the bar is also in among where the brewing is taking place.
Like you can see the stills right behind. you
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
Because I'm interpreting this as the religion is all about sort of the brewing as well as the product of it. So
Yes, I would imagine. I'd imagine all about the brew.
okay.
While we're doing that, I would like to ask him. I'm my comrades and I plan on, I assume, staying here in this lovely city for quite some time. I was told of a parcel of land, a little island, someplace to place a lighthouse by the nearest, the Laughing Dwarf, the bartender there. What do you know about this parcel?
Amy Hirelo.
Hi.
Oh, he says, I don't know about the parcel, but old Cormac has a reputation as a bit of a swindler. I suspect he sensed that you were new to town and thought he could swindle you out of, I'm guessing to the tune of 50 gold?
Oh, he said 25. But he did hand me some Thunder Brew that tastes quite flat for such a high quality drink such as that.
Ah, brother, we have a lot to teach you about Bezos before we turn you loose into the streets.
Please, I am here to learn and to drink.
Well, first off, avoid the Laughing Dwarf at all costs. Okay, so
That son of a bitch will get his in the end.
we will cut to Kiki and Bert.
So I figured you were going to try to, buy a place. I didn't think you were going to, take a nap in a temple or
Stay
anything.
in the temple. Yeah. So my thought was that I'd find like a weekend, like condo type deal to rent while we're here.
This area doesn't look like the condo kind of place,
Oh yeah. No, we have to go somewhere better.
Oh, okay. So you're looking like top shelf. You're thinking
middle
middle
ground.
of the road.
Yeah.
Middle ground? Okay.
Nicer than this, but not too posh.
Nicer than this, but not too posh. Oh, you're going to get a lot of looks for that owlbear, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the plan. It's the goal in life.
So
That'll be fun.
So Galata does have a few neighborhoods that are nicer than sort of dockside where you guys are at.
Are they kind of lifted up, like a bit higher, like overlooking?
Yeah,
everything?
they're sort of on the hilltop, and they're kind of like row houses where their front faces the street and their back has balconies that sort of drop off, overlooking the sort of terrace below them. The majority of the nicer neighborhoods are going to be on the other side of the river.
And Kiki already figured this out, right? This isn't something that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the issue is if you're going across the river, you both are going to need passports.
How do we get passport?
Oh, I think we just say where we're going to be, right? We have to go to the dockmaster, say we're going to be staying at the temple, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You can find us there. Probably not.
Sure,
thing.
both. All right, well, let's get that taken care of so we can go
I
find.
imagine Bayard will be at the temple the entire time, so you'll be able to find one of the party there.
Yeah. It's like, do you know these 3 delinquents?
So,
Who?
so Kiki and Bert make their way to the harbor master's office, where Kai and this elf are going in circles.
Okay.
And the elf, starting to look a little disheveled as he's like run his hands through his hair a little bit, and you get the sense he's taken off his glasses and cleaned them a few times. His robes are kind of disheveled. He looks at you as you say that, and he's like, Kai.
Yeah, that's Kai.
Thank
See you
you.
better,
And he
better, buddy.
flips through the book and finds Kai. And he goes, Sir, you were unable to provide a place of residence when you arrived. You have until the end of the week to provide that. Where will
Yeah.
you be staying?
We'll all be at the temple.
And who are
Yeah.
you?
We have a passport now.
Which temple?
The drunken
Year
temple?
1.
Yeah. The Brewmasters? I don't know.
Fuck,
Brew
do you
Brothers.
know what it's called?
Brew Brothers. That's what it was called, right?
The one with the ale in it.
Bayard, it's your religion.
Ale.
High or low?
I know, but I'm letting it low.
Ale House.
Ale. No. What the fuck was it called?
Are you referring to the Temple of Amathion?
I don't think that was it. Was that it?
A Matheon. That I thought there was more of an sound in it.
Brew Brothers.
There is a temple. There is a religion devoted to the art of brewing, and their deity oversees the harvest and the brewing.
Yeah, that's the one.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
one.
one.
Have you checked in at the temple to ensure that they will let you stay?
Yeah, we
Oh,
got
yeah,
a dwarf there and another way they both were.
Yes, we're both dwarves.
Is Zerf a dwarf?
Zerf is the hobo dwarf.
Hey,
Yeah. So there's already two dwarves there checking us in.
All right, so I'm going to need names for your entire party. I already have Kai, and he like scribbles something in the tome. Next,
Fozzie.
finds Fozzie, makes a note. The others in your party.
Burt West.
So it repeats the procedure.
Okay.
Do you also give him? You mentioned 2 dwarves.
Asshole number 1, asshole number 2, asshole number 3.
Bard and Zerf. Baird.
Or
Beard.
bear, yeah.
Beard.
Bear. Yeah, Beard.
How do you spell that?
Like beard.
Bayard. Boyard. That's his name. Boyard.
B-A-Y or B-O-Y?
Boy.
Does he have a surname?
Bayard Iron Mug?
Ah, I found it. Here it is.
Okay, there we go. All right.
And
Hey, look who knows who he's traveling with.
Doing real good. Real good.
This is hilarious.
and you said you had one other companion?
The other dwarf.
Oh,
Yeah.
the sleeping one. Zerf.
Okay.
The sleepy one.
He's sleeping.
We have a couple of dwarves, Sleepy and Drunky.
There's a note here that your companion Zerf was unconscious upon arrival in the city.
He got
Oh, yeah.
Is he deceased?
no. Wrong.
He's just sleeping one off.
Okay, and he's not carrying any infectious diseases?
No.
Not anymore. No, it's not.
Okay, so he writes that off.
Jesus.
And he says, do you require passports?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What parts of the
Can I-
city do you require access to?
All of them.
Why would you need access to the palace?
I don't know.
Then you
Is
don't
that
need
not
access
is that
to the palace.
is that not a thing you could just like visit?
I
Hey,
lean down and I'm like, do we have business at the palace? I cannot.
What's his
I don't
name?
know.
The prince dude.
We're here to see Prince. Yeah, he's playing, right? The Purple Rain tour comes through Bayard. Is that
It's
right?
like, yeah, right.
The Purple Rain
But-
tour goes through your companion.
What's
What
this
is
purple
this
rain?
place
I only
called?
know about golden showers.
We definitely. Well, at least we need to go across the river.
I just like to say, hi. If you could do that, is that acceptable?
I will give you passports to cross the river and access the general regions of Bezos proper and all of Galata, as well as gate passes for Galata. And
So is this an not all expense paid, it's everything, right? That's everything?
you do not have access to the Grand Temple of Bezos,
How
to
come?
the Grand Archives of Bezos.
Oh, how do I
To
get
the-
access to that?
He wants that, though. He likes to read.
Are you are
Reader.
you completing this particular
Literate?
research project?
Yeah, it's that
Oh,
book.
I'm a student
right?
of everything.
He's writing a book.
I'm afraid that in order for me to issue a passport for the archives, I must have a project that you are working on.
Book.
Well,
A book
I-
on what subject?
Of the crystal expansion.
Yes, I am researching a very
Phenomenon.
little known phenomenon, an ancient curse of crystal. I don't know if you've.
So he writes down ancient curse of crystal research, and so he basically, like, once he does that, he sort of casts a quick spell that you guys can't really like make out because none of you are fucking
That's all
wizards.
this-
And after he does that, there's like a little crystal of various colors, and each is engraved with different runes sort of suspended within the crystal. And he hands one to Bert, and one to Kai, one to Kiki.
Can I get the one for the other guys?
They must come and get their own passports.
Worth a shot.
And he says, if there's nothing else I can do for you, I look very forward to bidding you good day, Mr. Kai.
It's the monk.
So the bear, he could just go with me, right?
If he has the appropriate paperwork.
Yep. See ya.
He does.
I
I love
need
that
you.
Randy Marsh.
See ya.
Okay. These are some action-packed episodes.
Change this podcast to dipshits. Dickery.
So let's go find that beach house. That
Beach house.
The one in
Red.
the picture.
know
the one in the picture.
you don't
Yeah.
know about the beach house, yeah? Do you? Or is that a different one?
I was more looking for that power yacht. That thing looked pretty badass.
Oh, the picture's gone.
Yeah.
We need like a condo. We're staying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a Costa del Sol is what we need.
So you're doing some real estate speculation.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll me investigation checks. Kiki only, unless Bert's helping with this.
Oh, yeah, I'll help.
16,
Contribute. These are investigations.
Yeah.
24.
Kai's trying to get his muppet.
I investigate the shit out of it.
Oh
No,
man, my
we're going
investigations. Where's it? Oh, I only get a 16.
Okay. So you're able to find a broker who spends the afternoon showing you different places around. and I don't know.
I turn everything down and tell him to start again, without even looking. I'm kidding.
So, first off, he needs a ballpark of how much you're planning to spend.
I don't know what. I'm not good at estimating what things are worth.
I have
How much-
no idea what.
As this is DM.
This is Caleb, not
This is Caleb.
screw me over,
This
Caleb.
is Caleb not trying to screw you over, just trying to get a feel for
How much money I have?
yeah. How much money do you have?
10,000.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So
Still a lot.
I stole so
Um,
many things and then never shared any of it, guys.
So, depending on what you want,
I have
Like you-
4.
Not 1,000. Just 4.
Shane used to have 500. Used to.
You stole 900 from me.
No, I only took 5.
Why do I have 900? Kiki stole 900 from you.
Oh, I wrote a note that says I stole 5.
She can't even keep her accounting straight.
So you can get like a row house, that's kind of small, but nice for 100 gold. You could get sort of a more sprawling, I don't want to say villa, but a house with its own like grounds and yard for 1,000 gold. And if you want to drop up to 5,000 gold, a 5,000 gold will buy you one of the palaces
No, I don't need
in the
that.
center of town.
You don't want to
Now,
get too much attention, right?
I keep saying condo, but if I'm spending this, is it mine?
Yeah, you're buying you're essentially buying the land and the building on it.
And I know you've been through like where we're at, but is it like you've got like the palace, and then the farther out you go, the crickets? Does that make sense?
I'm trying to think of a frame of reference that you would get.
I know.
Have you watched the show Rome at all?
No.
Um,
Because I'm gonna assume it's like you don't have rich people.
if you pay 1,000, you're going to be in a wealthy neighborhood.
But not like the palace people.
No, you're not going to be. So the palace is like its own
Is it
miniature
palace?
is its own miniature city, essentially.
Okay.
Vatican.
And then there are sort of government palaces for high-ranking government officials, as well as the sort of the Great Temple that is to be used only by these high-ranking officials because they don't want to mingle with the rabble. And those are sort of out on the tip of the peninsula at the peak of that hill. And then sort of ringing the hill at a lower level are the richer neighborhoods with these villas with walls and gardens. And then below that are sort of nicer houses with courtyards but not necessarily gardens. And then beyond that are like row houses. And there are markets in designated squares sort of spread throughout the region.
So, Bert, do we want to live in a nice area, or do we want to do what we did like last time, where it was? I don't think we lived in a nice area last time.
No, we didn't live in a terrible
You
part,
were
but
you were in the merchant district last time
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't
because
like
you were
the-
running a shop.
Do we
The
want to do
slums.
something like that, or we just want a house? Or
I
do
mean,
we
if we're
need to
gonna
be
set up-
more? Do we need to be more low key?
Are you guys married or what?
No,
I'm
we've
confused
just
with
done this
this game.
before, so we're shopping together.
Yeah, we know what we want. I think we want to. We'll want to stay low key enough to where we can get away with enough dickery to not draw too much attention to ourselves. Because
So
if we're in like a really high end area,
Is there So is there
We're gonna
something
be
in
seen.
between the 100 and the 1,000?
Yeah, I mean, you could. It's sort of a spectrum. I'm giving
Yeah,
you
let's-
the points at what you get at each.
All
Different.
right. Well, let's go for something in between where it's not too posh, but it's not too seedy as fuck.
Okay, so 100 gold wouldn't necessarily be seedy. 500.
It sounds seedy. Sorry.
500. We'll do this. We'll say 500 gold. We'll get you a nice. Do you want it furnished or unfurnished?
Furnished. I don't want to deal
Okay.
with that.
So it'll get you a nice furnished 3-story row house with a tiny little courtyard. That's in a decent location. That's convenient for reaching the archives and the markets and the bridges to go to Galata if you want to carry out shadier business.
Sounds swell.
Okay, then it is yours. And again, by the time this is all done, it's the end of the day. The government offices are closing, but the very last thing they do is finish writing out your deed and transferring it over to you.
Wait.
Hey!
Okay.
Now let's all get drunk at housewarming.
Okay.
I send out invitations
So
to the temple.
Kai goes and gambles.
Oh, shit. With what? I thought he was like dead ass broke.
I am.
Are you gonna sell your butt?
Okay.
I see what you wrote, you slimy little.
Oh, what did I miss?
So Kai, you earn modest winnings.
Yay.
Like not enough to really note it down, but you don't lose. Basically, your lifestyle expenses are covered for the time you spend gambling.
Okay. It's all good fun.
Hey, if
Okay.
you're not losing, you're having fun.
Did you say you wanted to find moppets?
Yeah.
You have no trouble finding. Every city has moppets.
Told you.
Start my network.
Would be fun.
What are you trying to accomplish?
It sounds so sinister. What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, like what? So you're like, hey, Moppet, I'm gonna start a network of Moppets. Like he's like, what do you want?
Hi,
But
gee,
it's-
mister.
Oh, gee, mister. Who you want to overthrow?
Everybody.
Oh, jeez, you're trying to disrupt the natural order of the city?
Of course.
But no, like, actually, seriously, what are you trying? So you find a Moppet. How's this conversation go?
Goes, okay. Here's some gold.
How much gold?
Half of what I have.
What do you have?
Nothing.
I had 50 gold, I think.
So 25 gold. He Moppet like drops his facade of this innocent beggar kid and is like, "Who do you need killed?"
I feel like his voice has got to change. Like,
It should
"Hey,
have gone
yo, man."
deeper.
Yeah, I thought he was going to bring out a cigar, puff it.
Ah, who do you need-
Dead.
like Boss Baby, like
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin talking all of a sudden out of a baby face.
Who are we dropping?
No one, I just want information.
Like, are you basically buying for him to report to you, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Where can I find you when I have a report to make?
They're over there. Kiki's place.
Okay,
Which
out
is-
of character.
blah, blah, blah.
You weren't
I was
there.
there. I was with them until
So you were there for the whole
Sorry.
shopping excursion?
I was, and then they were arguing and then left.
Okay.
Bored.
I guess you guys would eventually find him and tell him where you're staying, where the house is. So,
I think we'd probably just say, "Oh, this is the one."
okay.
He may have heard that. I don't know.
So yeah, so the Moppet's like, I can get it out of there unseen. Okay. And he'll report like once a turn. So every 10 days, he'll give you a report.
Okay.
What exactly am I looking for?
Um,
Like, am I telling you about every seagull I saw? Or only, like, if I see people roughing other people up? Or...
something strange.
In the neighborhood.
But who are you going
Who
to
you gonna
call?
call?
Chaotic Neutral.
This is it. These are the jokes.
actually, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and call it. Although I do... no, I think what I'll do is some hooks next time.
Get that harbor master a roofie or something.
Oh, you don't fuck with Langelis. That's one rule of the streets of Galata. Langelis being the elf's name.
I put that together.
Okay, so on that note, we're gonna go ahead and cut it. Sorry, there's no real cliffhanger or anything, or no new exciting reveal.
We're getting settled.
They are
Yeah.
going back to the bar to beat the crap out of Cormac.
Somebody's getting their ass kicked.
Bring your friends with you.
There's gonna be a murder or a hanging or a wedding. Either way, gonna be a lot of fun.
Either way, we're gonna have a lot of fun, huh?
But yeah, for next time, we will now that the gang is settled in the new city, and can start going about their objectives. We can start looking into doing, getting some action going, because I know the
Some
last couple
people.
of sessions
Killed.
I
have
know.
been,
Kind of killed.
huh?
I know. Rare and precious metal.
That's what you want info on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Even if it's already part of a weapon.
It's gonna be like gold.
No.
He's looking pointedly at the 25 gold in his hand.
You can have more of that.
Oh,
Give him the
jeez,
rest.
thanks, mister.
I give him the rest.
Oh,
Jesus
What's
Christ!
wrong with you?
You gonna ask Kai that question?
Yeah. So many times.
Just don't put your hand in here.
Kiki, he's gonna start thinking that's his name.
what the
What?
fuck is wrong with you? What?
You need something?
Somebody needs me. All right, before we get too loopy, we are going to go and call it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As a scheduling note, the holidays are coming up, and scheduling recording sessions is going to be a little tight. So we're going to sneak them in when we can, but there's no guarantee that we're going to be back to our weekly schedule in the immediate future. So yeah,
As the adults, we have lots of things to do.
Lots of drinks to drink.
because in case you couldn't tell, we're amateurs that are not paid for this.
Oh Jesus!
We're not paid for this?
No, you surprised every time.
Bro,
I actually have had people ask me why we don't do a Patreon or a Kickstarter, and one of the reasons is because like then we would have to, like, hell or high water, we're recording something.
Yeah.
And
I charge $25 an hour.
and just can't commit to that. Also, I feel like if we're charging, if we have our hand out for money, we really have to step up the quality of our voice acting attempts, and Like,
I can't voice act people. This is what you get.
and I need to. I would need to step up my dungeon mastering to show some like incredible stuff.
This is it.
I like this amateur hour shit.
Them's the jokes, man.
That's our niche.
I'm
And I've-
slumping in my chair. I'm
I've
wearing
accepted
sweats.
that.
You have
Get rats
clothes on?
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad Amy made that joke.
You put pants on for this shit?
It's mostly to protect my chair. For me.
All right.
That's swamp ass.
Thanks again for listening. If you liked
Can't all be
any
perfect.
of that, you can listen to all of our stuff at soundcloud.com/cndnd. That's where all of our episodes are archived, and that's where new episodes will be uploaded in the future. You can also find us on your podcast delivery service of choice, such as iTunes, not to endorse anyone in particular, but you just search for Chaotic Neutral Podcast, and we should come up. Our logo is this cool little yellow icon with hand-drawn people attacking a D20. That's how you know you found us. And if you hadn't found us already, I don't know how you're listening to this. Regardless. Shane has our Facebook, right?
Yeah. You can also find us, if you do the Facebook, at facebook.com/cndnd.
And
Welcome.
David has the Twitter?
Yep. I have Twitter, which is CND cast.
Okay. And Amy?
You can find us on Instagram at Chaotic Neutral D&D.
And finally, Will.
And you can also find us on twitch.tv/chaotic.
I think Will should do all of them.
He's got a
The-
great voice.
The problem is that Will cut out on my Discord, so
That
I
was
think...
a robot.
Okay, I couldn't tell if that was going to be a cutout or
Everybody's cut out all the time.
So I think that Will's the one with the connection problems this time instead of me. Yay.
Yay!
So what the robot said underneath those layers was we're at twitch.tv/chaoticneutraldnd. And you can... Hopefully we'll start streaming more often and more regularly, but as with everything else, we really can't promise it because we have...
Got
other-
jobs.
Yeah. We have
It took our jobs.
We have jobs. A couple of us have kids. I have.
I'm making this my job
I
now.
have
This is my
school.
job now.
God,
Done.
dude, can I marry your wife too and be like a stay-at-home? I'm just kidding.
Stay-at-home grunkle. That's what I do, but I have to pay rent. Like there's an episode of Gravity Falls where they're like, is Grunkle Stan seem even grunklier than usual? I'm like, God, I am the Grunkle, even though I'm just a regular uncle. Okay, so to steal from a YouTube channel, bye. No, till next time. Keep it chaotic.
Bye!
Later.
Get out my house.